great place.
It's nice, but
Hi everybody. So we're a French collective named I Jeudi Noir. I'm Alex and this is Valentin. And we're here just to talk about what we do done in France about housing.
so basically, Jeudi Noir, or Black Thursday, started in 2005, and the point is to fight very high rents in France and the housing problem, the housing crisis. And Black Thursday is the name we decided to give, like you can see on the T-shirt, because of the crisis of 1929, of course, and also because on the Thursday, that is the day where a newspaper is published in France every Thursday, and it is the magazine that shows you all the ads to get rents and flats in Paris. Usually very, very expensive, too expensive for most of us to basically get one. So.
Yeah, so with some friends 5 years ago, we decided to hack the real estate visits and to make some joys and happiness from something that's very suffering. Because nobody of them we could rent any flat in Paris and even in all the French big cities. So just look about, we go into a flat and we make the first, we make a very big party, very flash mob. So it's very surprising for the proprietor and for the other people. And we stay about 20 minutes and saying that we are against the very high price of the rent of flat, and we go. And this is a thing that we make also for media, get medias about this very big problem, because before Jeudi Noir, the housing problem was not very mediative. And we decided to make some new way of protest with very cool way of doing things with joys and even not say, oh, the life is too hard, but just with rejoice with friends.
Basically, there were those very traditional protests, very boring, that we thought, at least. And we decided to find a new way to just demonstrating about the housing problems. So you can see wigs, everybody has some. And we have a mascot that is, you're going to see him pretty soon, Disco King. And so basically, that is what we started, going in real estates and trying to hack the usual traditional visits. But that is not the only thing that we did. And what we're going to emphasize on tonight is another kind of action that we do a lot, and it is occupation. Occupying buildings, and a very special one, the one that we kept for only 2 months, but that was a very symbolic and one of the most important buildings that we occupied. And here you can see the typical occupation of building. So we did one that lasted for a year. This is the one that you can see in the very center of Paris. But last year, as there was a very special political context, with our last president, we decided to stay there. You can see the Eiffel Tower, and you can see the 22nd Avenue de Matignon.
It's very near from the French president's house. This is Palais de l'Élysée. And in this way, it was a very sensitive place. So we tried to stay the longest way possible. So you see at night when we bring some stuff in the building, amazingly, the building was just open. You just have to open the door like the small houses. And it was a very, very big building, about 2,050 meters square. So we bring many people, and as you can see, many of the medias just laugh about the small Sarkozy that just is in front of a squat.
So basically, there was like this 8-floor building, and from the very top of the building, you can see just across, and it was like Sarkozy waving hands, so it was quite funny.
It was funny, and was also a great moment for the French people that are against Sarkozy. There was many of them, because it was a way for saying that people can have a power from some of democracy and a power of the street. So after many days staying in the building secretly, we make a big event with media and politics. It's done very heavily because we try to get protection of the left parties, and you see them, some of
Here
them.
you can see basically the various, like the 5 top left movements and parties in France, and you can see that we get a lot of support. So that was kind of important, but as you said, it's like a win-win relationship, because at some point, like, we tend to be protected by the fact that we have political supports, and so that, like, basically we don't get evicted too quickly. But at the same time, they come, like, political leaders come to emphasize the fact that they help young people, that they do something politically, and so they try to use us, and we try to use them at the same time. So it is a win-win relationship that could be very ambiguous.
It's somewhat like media hacking, because usually medias are very against squat. And we succeed in talking about something that is real life guys, not some arty way, but just people that want to live in the city. And so with like hacking, the medias talk very, very much about our building occupation. And many politics and medias, even the hardcore of TF1, this is the rightist and biggest media in France, relay everything we do, because it's very famous. And on this picture you can see, because the building we just take is just in front of the headquarters of the company. That is very amazing, because each time they come into the headquarters, they say, "Oh my God, they just opened her building."
So basically, it was an insurance company that is called AXA, a very famous insurance company in France, and they had like a lot of buildings all around Paris, and they are some of the most important public housing company, and well, they own a lot of what we call HLM, which is public housing. And basically we decided to take this one because it was really close to the president's place, but also because they were just across the street. So basically you can see that we are behind this glass, and on the other side, like, there were their headquarters. So basically we can wave hands and say hello to them too. So we have on one side the president, and on the other side the owners of the building we are squatting. So it is kind of heavy.
It's also a way to reappropriate the office building that many cities are polluted. Because in Paris and very many of French cities, there are many empty office building. So we try also to mediatize the fact that in the Parisian citizen, it's a very high problem of the concurrence between housing and office. And so the police make a strong blocus and stay just below 20 hours a day.
Here you can see like probably, I don't know, 15, 20 cops. Basically we had like buses, like 5 to, I guess, 15 buses all the time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, at night. And basically we sort of developed a relationship to cops, like trying to invite them, offer them wine or something, because like we almost lived with them. They organized this huge blockage. We couldn't get any food through. We couldn't get through ourselves, and in the end we managed to get a list. So they had a list of names, and we could only enter and leave the building if we were on the list. So you can get the idea that, like, basically inviting friends, inviting journalists, inviting political supports like I Jeudi, who is the head of the Grünen party in France, was kind of difficult. And even though we tried to manage and keep like the smile, basically, and making fun of it instead of being depressed, because the situation basically in France is very depressing. To give you an idea, to get like 20 square meters flat, you have to pay between 700 and 1,100 euros per month.
So also we try to to make some fun. And in many previous occupation, we make some music video clip. And there we choose to make a joke about the first lady of the woman of Sarkozy, named Carla Bruni, and we make a fake on the board.
On me dit qu'aujourd'hui des gens dorment dehors. Est-ce vrai mon chéri, toi qui es le plus fort? On dit que par ici ils sont vides les bureaux. Ce qui manque le plus c'est des logements sociaux. Pourtant quelqu'un m'a dit
Basically saying, somebody told me that they're still squatting, instead of somebody told me, that is the real song, that they still love me. So basically we changed all the lyrics, and well, it's how we look like all the time. So, and that is our president, or a new version that we prefer.
And because we stay about 2 months in a very blockust way building, we need to make some joke and to make something fun. And even the cops are smiling about our nice. And also it's a way to hack media, because we take a songs with success, even the French lady, the first lady one, and we make a sort of parody. So it's also a way to relay our fight with humor.
And also the idea is that, well, basically we use artistic forms. It can be like hacking the traditional songs. It can be using, I don't know, broadcasting on buildings. It can be very different kinds of artistic forms. But it is the best way for us to get the media attention and to put forward our message, that is basically that there are a lot of laws that can change the housing crisis and housing problems in France, but also in Europe generally and all around the world. And that we decided to just take the nice and funny way, instead of just trying to emphasize, as is done all the time, on the housing problems.
Yeah, we try also to make a thing that's not very stressful, because all the medias are full of stress, and even for the people that just watching TV, and they need a way to learn something and to get into move without the stress, the aggressivity, and something more childish perhaps, but more efficient also. There's many people that come at this place, and even the guys we are famous, we put the picture on, but also some very hardcore guy that just haven't any house in Paris, and they come in front of the building, and so have a lunch together or something like this.
It is also a way to get, well, the neighborhood support us. And that is quite important in some of the houses that or buildings that we squatted and occupied. Sometimes having the neighborhoods to support us, that really helped, because they saw empty buildings, like this one has been empty for 5 years before we entered the place. And sometimes they are quite happy that we occupy buildings, not only because it helps for the political housing crisis, but also because it is a way to bring life and social communities in a neighborhood. And for example, this area in Paris is a very posh and rich area where there is only the Israeli embassy, the Elyseum Palace, and it is very, well, basically dead at night and during the day, and there is no community, no social life. So sometimes having a squat in a place or an occupied building is also, as you basically know from here, a way to just meet people, have fun, talk about political issues, talk about social issues, and that is also very important. So we get a lot of support actually from the neighborhood, even in very posh areas actually.
Yeah, and it's also a way for speaking about housing, because housing is like a taboo. When you can't have a flat in Paris, you just stay like a rat and seeking for couch surfing, or you waiting for a higher salary. So we have to make a work about saying that it's not normal to not have a flat. And one of the famous phrases is have a flat is a right. You know, it's very important to say that housing is not just a luxury, but just something that is essential for bringing into the social life. So this is Disco King, a famous guy, not Elvis, but Disco King. And there's also many artists that come to look about the way we live in an empty building. We just bring something that stay in the street, and it's like arty way of improvising every day. There's some guys that bring up some music, some foods. There are many of the neighbor that bring us every day some food, and they say, "Oh, take it." So
through the windows, like throwing things through the windows,
very funny.
throwing things at policemen's heads, and well, depends. But most of the time, it is a great fun, but also a great stress, and that is also something that we have to emphasize, because it all looks very fun with wigs and stuff. But sometimes, like being there, we stayed for 2 months only before getting evicted. You're gonna see that pretty soon. But before the eviction, we stayed for 2 months. Sometimes we couldn't go out. So you imagine you have, some of us at least have a job, and sometimes it was like impossible to get out. So if we got out, we couldn't go in again. And so sometimes it was quite stressful. We just didn't have food, didn't have, of course, you guess it is quite difficult to have at least hot showers. And sometimes it is a very stressful moment. So being just like humorous and with friends and making fun of it helps a lot when those guys come.
Yeah.
And that's not the funny part.
The bad guys.
Ooh. And so, like, you can see there are like tons of policemen for approximately 30 people inside the squad, which is like amazing, like 5 times the amount of people there.
Yeah.
So this is the first broadcasting, like on the TV, and basically they tell about the eviction. So maybe you can.
So there's also about a judicial way of working, because we try to push on the trial and to say that it's a right to occupy some empty buildings. So we work with lawyers, and even for this building we have some trial, and we lose. It's why we get out. And it's a very strong moment also, because not many people are going to this level of contestation, even on the judicial way. So we try to make the panel of every way of contestating, but each time try to do it with some pleasure on some. So there we have to make some barricade, because we know that the police will get into, and it will be hard. So we try with some doors and very weak things. It's like a joke, but. It's at this moment the tension is very, very high.
Very strong.
Yeah, we know that it will be a fight. So we also
start packing stuff because we lose a lot of stuff. Of course, we open like empty buildings every month, basically, and so we lose a lot of stuff. So basically, the idea is that you open a building, you bring all the stuff you can inside, so that you can prove that you lived there in the place for quite some time. And because the French law, but it's not only French, it is the same basically in London and in other European countries, states that if you have lived in the place for quite some time, and you can show that you've lived in the place for quite some time, so have mattress, have clothes, have lamps, everything, they have no right to evict you violently. That's just the law. Of course, you can see that basically policemen don't care about the law. And that's not surprising. So we get evicted quite violently after just 2 months, which is illegal. So the police just doesn't respect the law anymore, which is funny in a way. And well, they use all the way they can to just push us out of the building. So we have like, of course, we have chains and stuff, but in the end, it's just a delay, and you still get evicted.
Yeah, but for us it's absolutely not a fail, because the success is about 2 months of very high mediatization of the housing problem. And even in this building we don't think about living there for the maximum of time. We try to make the noise about housing problem. We try to propose a political solution, realistic way. And we make some books from I Jeudi Noir that is a way of making some good ideas on the public and also for the politicians. And even if we get at with police that bring into a bus and say, oh, you stay at the police station for about 24 hours, it's not absolutely not a fail. And even with this, we just try to succeed to open another one last week and last week, and even the cops say, try again. It's very good for every people. They say it's a secret, but it's a very cool way of moving shit.
Basically, we are crazy lobbyists, just doing like the usual lobbying stuff, contacting like all political leaders from different parties, from deputies to senators to whomever. And the thing is that we just decided that let's do it in the fun way, and let's try to occupy as often as we can in symbolic places that you would never dream you can enter. Like, for example, this one has this amazing rooftop from which you can see everything in Paris. And in the end, well, let's have fun even in the police cars. Like, even in the very end, like, we're in this like trap going to the nearest police station, all of us parked in the car, in the bus, in the police bus. And well, we just decided we have to just party there. It's like the only thing left to do, so. And that is like our group.
Yeah, they're saying hello for everybody that's there.
So they're in Paris just waving hands.
And you're welcome at our workshop on Monday at 11. We are talking about 5 hours for explaining and sharing all our experience. And we get into videos, but more also all the technique we have to stay and opening buildings, and even to get into real estate and flat visits.
Basically giving you clues so that you can do it if you want, whenever you want, being part of Black Thursday and I Jeudi Noir, or being just your own media activists, occupiers, and we'll have a friend that is a clown and might give you techniques, also clown techniques, so that you can hack medias and occupy buildings much more than.
So it's on Monday 11, I think. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Sadly, I have to tell you that Don Carl isn't able to be there tonight. Sorry. So I would kindly invite you to have a break after this first very long marathon day. At midnight, in the White Box, begins 7 Premises by Davis Freeman, and here at 1 a.m. we'll have the concert by Lexus Legal. See you soon.